We're closing in on the end of 2017, so I thought I should mix things up a bit and come up with a list of the top 10 games that were released this month on Android. This list will include 10 of the best free and paid games of this month. These games are not placed in any particular order, they're all worth trying out. You'll find the links to these awesome games in the description down below, and with that said, let's get started with our first entry in this list. Morefight. Imagine No Man's Sky on Android. Not that anyone wanted that, since No Man's Sky was one of the most underwhelming titles of the past year, despite the fact that it was one of the most ambitious concepts for any game. It unfortunately couldn't live up to the massive expectations that were set by the gamers, and ended up being barraged by harsh reviews. Morefight tries to provide a similar experience to No Man's Sky on Android, and mostly gets things right this time around while managing to avoid the same hurdles that wreaked havoc upon No Man's Sky. The game offers the same captivating setting that No Man's Sky offered, which includes traveling to worlds and planets and exploring them to your heart's content while injecting it with a dose of puzzling and storytelling that keeps it interesting and engaging all the way through the end. It might not be a world with infinite possibilities like No Man's Sky, but I have to be honest, I'm impressed with this game and having a great time with it, and I do overall consider it to be a better game than No Man's Sky. No Man's Sky. Monument Valley 2. The original Monument Valley was an absolute masterpiece. This game single-handedly changed my perspective on mobile gaming. After playing Monument Valley, I started paying attention to hidden gems like Monument Valley on the Play Store. Monument Valley is the kind of game that makes console gamers and PC elitists think twice before insulting a mobile gamer. Monument Valley 2 builds upon the ingenious concept of the first game and takes it a step further, allowing you to control not one, but two separate characters. The game might be a bit on the short side, but the puzzle mechanics have been improved. Wrapping this whole experience is an interesting story that keeps you intrigued until you reach the saddening end of this game. You'd be sad that you have just finished another incredible masterpiece that you'll have to wait for so long to see a possible sequel for it. It is truly hard to outdo yourself, but I think that the developers may have just been able to do so. Shadow Fight 3. A highly polished free-to-play fighting game with an Asian setting and a focus on martial arts and weaponry usage. If you're coming from the immensely popular Shadow Fight 2, you'll feel right at home with this one. Combat is handled with button taps instead of swipes, which I prefer. It's just that swipes aren't accurate enough to control characters in a fast-paced fighting game. With taps, I feel that I have a better control over the characters. You'll be able to earn card packs that includes equipments, weapons, and even currency. Not to mention that the game looks absolutely fantastic, and it just overall oozes quality. Definitely worth checking out. Fingers 2. Fingers 2 or Triple M Fingers 2 or I don't know how you're supposed to pronounce that. It's a really fun and engaging concept for a game. In it, you're trying to avoid obstacles using your fingers. You're not controlling a character in the game, just your finger avoiding an unrelenting amount of obstacles. The game has an infinite mode as well as a level-based challenge. The graphics are vibrant and fun to look at. The game also keeps things fresh by mixing up the obstacles, never allowing you to anticipate the upcoming obstacles. Despite the relatively simple concept, the game could be tough as nails at times, while remaining to be a lot of fun at the same time. The ads are maintained under control, and the in-app purchases are not forced upon you, and the bite-sized gameplay is perfect for standing in line and having a quick gaming session. Stranger Things the game. If you're a fan of the TV show, then this is an essential download. Imagine if Stranger Things was made as an SNES game and you'd have the right picture. The game mixes up puzzle and exploration while allowing you to play as the main characters of the TV show. Each one of them has a unique ability that allows them to solve different types of puzzles. You can also dabble in combat using their own unique abilities as well. The game delivers an authentic experience true to the TV show. The soundtrack is done using chiptunes, and the whole town of Hawkins has been recreated in the game. It's everything you'd imagine a game for the Stranger Things TV show that was released on an SNES, and as an added bonus, the game is completely free with no ads. So go try it out ASAP. Beat Street. Ever miss the good old days of playing beat 'em ups on your SNES? TMNT, Streets of Rage. Yeah, these were the good old simple times. Beat the ever-living crap out of your opponents and move on to the next part of the level. It was an absolute blast to play. We've seen a lot of brawlers and beat 'em ups on the Play Store, but none were done at this level of finesse. It's a one-handed control type of game, and all the controls are comprised of taps and swipes, making this a very easy game to control, but hard to master. The art is reminiscent of 16-bit games and looks absolutely beautiful. You can play the game in both landscape and portrait, and yeah, by the way, if you want to level up your character, you can totally do that, and learn some kick-ass new moves as well, so go check it out. Tower Fortress, an endless tower climber that feels a lot like a vertical platformer. It feels like Downwell, but reversed, and with Nitrome's charming visuals on top of it. The levels are all randomly generated, which means that you will never get to play the same level twice. You'll be able to get power-ups throughout the level in the form of different weapons, as well as purchasing a perk at the end of every level to carry through to the next levels. You'll face different enemies and even fight bosses. One gripe that I have about the game is the portrait controls. The game would have been better in landscape with more spaced out controls. Despite this one issue, the game remains to be a lot of fun, although you'll have to deal with an extra amount of ads than most other games. Card City Nights 2. If you haven't played the first game, then make sure not to miss out on the sequel. A charming card combat with an emphasis on card positioning. The combat is very unique and unlike anything else you've played before. Not to mention that the art is very quirky and very different as well. You'll also find a story mode to play, allowing you to buy more cards and grow ever so powerful to become a force to be reckoned with online. In case if you grew tired of the combat genre, check this one out. It might be the shot in the arm that you so desperately need. Simulacra. I have to admit it, I love the Lost Phone genre, that is, if you can call it that. An ingenious concept that takes advantage of our knowledge of smartphones and allows you to explore someone else's phone to find out the truth behind a certain mystery. We may have games that are similar to Simulacra, but none were executed so exquisitely like this one. This is a disturbing story and extremely gripping to watch it unfold, and the added addition of clips of actual individuals make this a whole lot more believable. This game will mess with your mind in so many ways you'll wish to go back to it. Disjoint. While not a brainbuster by any means, this mesmerizing puzzler adds an interesting story to a genre that doesn't offer much in terms of a story. The art style is absolutely gorgeous, and the story somehow goes along with the game without feeling like a tacked-on addition. The concept of this puzzle game is to get the triangles to a certain location. How you get there is the puzzling part. The game will ramp up the difficulty smoothly and will eventually provide a challenge, so go check it out on the App Store. And that pretty much wraps up my list of the best games for November of 2017. You'll find the links to these awesome games in the description down below. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe, and stay tuned next month for my list of the best games of the year. Thank you for watching.